Well, all through the day, we're going to get a support from a large number of people. All the top experts in the field will be joining us to talk about the nature of the problem and to tell us what we can actually do about it. And then, of course, from the Indian film industry, which has always been such a pillar of support in campaigns like this, from industry and from others, a lot of people are going to be joining us, including, of course, my co-anchor for this entire event, Priyanka Chopra, is going to be joining us in just a couple of minutes. But in the meantime, can I ask you all to put your hands together, because joining us, the person who really has done a lot to increase awareness about this. He did a program, Satyamev Jayate, speaking about female feticide, and that really captured the imagination of the entire country. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Aamir Khan. Aamir, so glad to have your support. We are, of course, slightly upset you didn't join us right here in the studios, but we know it's a very special day. But thanks a lot so much for having been with us.
Hi Priyanka, hi Vikram. I'm really sorry I couldn't be there today, but we are celebrating Azad's birthday, so it was not possible for me to be there, but I'm happy to chat with you guys.
Right, Aamir. Well, Priyanka is going to be with us in just a couple of minutes. Now, your show, Satyamev Jayate, Aamir, really touched upon the cause of the girl child in such great detail. What, according to you, is the one thing that we have not really understood about the people and the families who just set out to eliminate their girl children?
Well, we really have to change our mindset, and I think a lot of that has begun happening. Post our show SMJ, we've on ground noticed there is a fair amount of change. I think administration has been working very hard to put a curb on sex selection abortion, and a lot of doctors who have been indulging in that kind of sex selection have been arrested. There've been proceedings against them. A lot of but that's on the legal side or the administrative side. Eventually, the crux of the matter is that we as human beings have to realize that what we're doing is shameful and wrong, and it is in fact something that's going to come back and harm us, because when the ratio of men and women in society changes, as these kids, if there's a big difference in the girl child and boy child ratio at birth, that is going to impact 15-20 years later, when you have an entire population where I don't know, 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 30 lakh men won't, young boys and men will never have a life partner, and that will result in further increase of crime against women in society. So it's a very vicious circle and a very huge problem, according to me. One of the biggest problems that India faces today. And in essence, I feel that, in fact, in my journey, I learned so much during SMJ. In one of my big learnings has been this, in fact, that until we empower women, we are never going to get really strong as a society. So it starts from, the time that the baby is born. Of course, nutrition starts even before that, looking after the nutrition of the child. But from the time the baby is born, if it's a girl, the same amount of affection and love the girl child needs. And, the girl child brings so many amazing, enriches our lives in so many ways, which a boy child can never do, So I think that this has to come within us, Administration has been working hard towards that. I think every state has realized that this is a big problem that is facing them. So they are really in overdrive in trying to curb this. But ultimately it has to be from us, the people. We have to realize that this is something that we cannot be thinking in this manner.
Right, Aamir, well, obviously one solution is to talk about it, to create awareness, and that's what our campaign today is going to try and do. Second is to try and educate and empower women, which is also something that we are trying very hard to do. Do you think at the end of the day, though, this problem is solvable, or is this something that's by now just too ingrained in our system?
Certainly. I mean, I'm a person who has a lot of hope. I'm a person who is an optimist, and I think that while the problem may be large, we have to work towards making the change, and there are various things that we can do, for that. I think in society we have to, when a girl child is born, we should make the parents feel really special. We should make the child feel really special. And I think, slowly, and people are afraid of dowry, and these are all related problems. Certainly there should be no dowry, and we should not indulge in that in any way whatsoever. I think the change has to come from the mindset, and it has to also be an emotional change. It has to be a combination of both, and I am hopeful. I think I see it happening already, and I think it will get better.
So in other words, you are saying that it is solvable, and that's great. Now, you, of course, have been also blessed with a daughter. What would you say to someone who doesn't want to have a daughter? What are they missing?
Well, I think, a girl in your house brings brightness, brings joy, brings warmth. Girls are much more sensitive. They're much more attached to their father. Of course, their mother as well. But they are very... they bring in a lot of sensitivity. Boys are a little more self-centered, we boys tend to be a little more absorbed in our own lives. Whereas girls are much more caring, and they reach out much more. And so they bring in, they bring in joy into your lives, really. They bring a sweetness into your life. They bring a fragrance into your life.
Aamir, we've been hearing what you've been saying about the fact that you think that this is a problem that can be solved. And I think it's also incumbent upon all of us to talk to people around us, to talk to our kids, for example, give them some instructions, give them some lessons. Is that something you do also? Do you, for example, perhaps talk to your son, say how he should eventually treat women, respect them, treasure them?
Oh yes, oh yes. Junaid is, I have to say, both Reena and I are very happy with the way he's turned out. In fact, both are children. And I think Reena's done a wonderful job of bringing up both Ira and Junaid. And I think Junaid is very sensitive to how he behaves, not only with women actually, but with everyone in fact.
Right, well, of course, we keep talking about, Aamir, the fact that the impact that Hindi films and the Indian film industry plays on shaping the mindset has been massive. Now, some of your films, Tare Zameen Par, with children may have different skills or abilities, Three Idiots, they sent really, really strong messages to everyone. At some point, perhaps, could you think about making a movie on the problem of the girl child if you get a chance?
Well, I don't look at movies from that point of view. I don't decide that here is a subject or an issue that I want to tackle and then let me make a movie about it. That's not how I address my films, or that's not how I move towards films. That's not how I choose my scripts. I do that on SMJ. On SMJ, I pick issues and topics which we all need to understand better, and starting with me, I need to understand them better. But in my movies, my primary responsibility is to entertain an audience. So that is something that I'm very aware of, and that is what I try to do. I want to entertain an audience. I think when an audience comes to a theatre, they're not coming there for a social message. If they want to understand sociology or political science, they'll go to a college. They're coming to have a good time. But there are times when we can actually give them a good time, and along with them, along with that, we can. The story could be about something which is important to us socially, and Tare Zameen Par and Three Idiots are very good examples of that. So I think that there's sometimes a combination of film which touches you, enriches you, and engages you, also gives you something to think about socially, and that's good. But I don't plan that. I don't go for that. I go with what I love as a script, and then if it has a social message, then very good.
Okay, we're going to try and get someone to get you a script which has that social message and also is entertaining, because you've really done that so well with so many films in the past. Now, Aamir, the other thing which, of course, we're doing all through the day, it's actually quite surprising almost to notice that just for 12,000 rupees, you can actually send a girl child to school for an entire year. And we're working with Pratham. We're going to be identifying girls especially from vulnerable sections of society, and the funds that they be raised will be going to sponsoring the education of these girls. Your thoughts on this initiative?
Well, I think it's a great initiative. I think we should all support it, and I would like to pledge that I would like to support 5 young girls in this manner. And I think more and more people should come forward and do that.
All right, Aamir, thanks a lot. Thank you so much for that, and great to have you with us. And your message, of course, is something which everyone does listen to.